Hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Today we are taking a look at the Moog Model D and we are going to concentrate on the Arpeggiator, which is also a very cool sequencer, so Arpeggiator sequencer. So you can do some really interesting stuff with the Arpeggiator and sequencer. First thing we're going to do though is set up a patch from scratch that's going to be great for our Arpeggiator to work with. So just go into our browser, new preset, we can close that, and now we'll just close the ARP like this. We have nothing going on, so we're going to make a quick patch that's going to be great for the Arpeggiator and sequencer. So we're going to take a rectangle wave shape here from this oscillator, plug it into our mixer. Going to take the output from the mixer and we're just going to go straight into the filter, the low pass filter here, output from the filter into the input of the amplifier. The output from the amplifier we'll just take down to the trunk line, and we'll take this envelope and plug that into the input of the amplifier, and now we'll be able to shape our sound. So you'll hear we have this kind of a siny type sound. It's quite dark because we need to open our filter a bit. Okay, so we can hear that now. That's great. Okie dokie. We can also take a sawtooth from this one and plug that into the mixer as well. And now we've got a mix between both. And we're going to be able to make a nice pluck sound. Now, I'm going to take the output from this envelope here and plug that into the control input for the filter. So now we can start doing a bit of filter shaping. So first of all, we want to design a kind of sound that's going to be good for pluck with our envelope. So we'll take all the sustain off, move the decay up, which is T2, and give it a little bit of release, which is T3. Now, because we're going through a filter as well and we're using this envelope, we need to make adjustments to that as well. So to sustain about there, and the decay and attack. So that's give us a bit of shaping for our filter, and we can then control our cutoff range. Okay, so that's fine, that's good. So we'll open up our Arpeggiator. Now I'm going to switch latch on and I'm going to play one note. So just that one C. So switch latch on and it'll just continue. If I let go of the key, I've got this MIDI'd up to my little key step. If I play a chord now, so an A minor, change the chord. This is our Arpeggiator work now. So if we hit this little plus button here, these are our Arpeggiator controls. So we have our direction. So I'll hit latch, let the chord play, and I'll change these controls so you can hear what they do. In fact, I'll play two A minors. So direction, let's turn that down a little bit. So direction up, up and down two, down up, and random. Let's just leave on up, down. Don't worry about velocity just yet, but you can choose if its velocity is reacting to each note, first note, last note, minimum, but we're gonna do something cool with that. Sort order. So very cool. We'll leave it on that, nice. Step size is your speed resolution. You can go all chiptune. So let's leave it on 1 octave range. We can go +1 octave. +2. +3. So I mean, if you increase the resolution on that to say 32nd, okay, and then we have -1 for octave first. Makes really nice bass lines. Let's just go back to our normal, and then we have pattern length. Right, so I'll stop this a sec. So at the moment, you'll see it's just one selected in pattern length, which is just this first one. This is where the magic happens, right? Okay. So on our arpeggiator or our sequencer, we can control the gate offset. So if I like latch this in again and play a chord, in fact, I'm just going to play one note. Gate offset here, gate length overall. Okay, gate offset for each step. So same as doing this. Okay, and then you have velocity. We need to route the velocity somewhere, so we'll worry about that in a sec. This button will control the pitch in semitones. Double tap to reset that, okay? Now, if we switch pattern length to 8, we can go anywhere in between 1 and 8, but 8, you'll see it's tracking along now, and it's all playing the same note, okay? However, if I start to adjust the pitch, you'll see that we can set this as a sequencer now. And of course, that means we can also set different gate offsets. What we can also do is drop steps out. And if we speed it up to say 1/16th, put them all back in for now. Very cool. And go back to 1/8. Okay, we'll just turn latch off for a sec. Now, this gets very cool when we start to use the velocity. So if we go to velocity here, you can see that on our control, let me just close that so you can look at it. On the controller inputs, on the Model 15, we can set all sorts of cool stuff, and we also have a lane for velocity. Okay, now you know you can set your velocity for anything you like, but we're going to use the velocity control on our arpeggiator sequencer to control velocity. So we'll take velocity here and we'll put it into the control input on the filter. Okay, so now what we can do is control the velocity of the filter with these velocity controls here. So if we press our latch again and we start to control the velocity, we can make some adjustments. Now you'll notice we lose volume. Okay. Once we start to bring up the regeneration, or basically the resonance, we'll lose volume. This just happens with most filters. When you start to bring up the resonance, you'll lose some volume. We can fix this though, don't worry. Okay, so let's play our note again. But now the cool thing is we can start to shape even further using our envelope here, because we routed that here also to the filter. So make it snappy. So we can go to our mixer and make this a bit louder now. Let's make some adjustments to our pitch. Very cool. We can even bring in more oscillators. So if we close our arc just for a moment, let's bring in this, let's bring in a sine wave from this. No, actually, let's bring one in from here. And let's take the octave range down for both this saw and this sine. Arp again, go to our velocity. Play with our gate offset. And then we can bring in some very cool delay. Now the delay will be in stereo and we don't need to patch anything, it's already hardwired. So let's go with some mix, feedback, and then sync it. See? Now, let's go back to our arm. Let's reset the pitches so they're all the same. So they're all just going to be playing that C again. But you see, because they're tracking along over 8, it's going to pulse and change dependent on the velocity settings and the other settings we've got. We could make some adjustments to our actual amp envelope as well, make it really snappy. But there's still loads of movement there. It's starting to get quieter again, so we can boost it up a little bit more. I'm just changing notes on the MIDI keyboard now. Now, because this is an arpeggiator as well, as soon as we play a chord, it's gonna, play the chord. That was just working with just one note. and changing the pitch, and that's how you use it as a sequencer. But if we play chords, of course, we're arpeggiating those chords depending on how our settings are here. So let's do something cool. Let's go with our direction 2, which will add extra notes at the end and the beginning. Okay, let's change our octave range to, this might be nice. Put latch on. Let's change it up to a 16th. Close that menu. Very cool. And this now will kind of be a global gate length. Re-trigger will just re-trigger the start, which whenever you press a note or a chord, which if re-trigger isn't on, this sounds a bit weird. I'm just free running, so wherever I hit a key, I can bring the keyboard up as well. Wherever I hit a key, it'll just carry on tracking. It won't reset the ARP before you hit re-trigger. Every time I hit a key, it'll go back to the beginning of the arpeggiator, which means you can play whatever you like and it's going to sound great. Very, very cool. Let's turn these keys off a sec, and also the ARP. And there are other cool stuff you can do, but that's basically the tutorial for the ARP, you know, set your sound or whatever. But we can modulate, modulating the time on the delay is always sounds good. Make it sound, do this. You can do things like that. And we can use an oscillator. We'll use, let me just stop this ARP. What we'll do is we can use this oscillator here as an LFO. Well, there will have been a link pop up for my deep dive tutorial into all this wiring and how to connect your modules and how to patch everything. So if you haven't watched that, that might help if you're interested in learning Model D. But we can use any of these oscillators we can use as LFOs. That's why there are no LFOs on here. You can also use envelopes to control whatever you like as well. But I want to control the time of that delay with this oscillator. So this here, if I double tap on it, bring it into focus, we put this into sub audio mode, and now this is really basically an LFO. Let's double tap it again. We can take a sine wave. There's a sine sine triangle, sawtooth, and rectangle. These are your waveforms, and we also have another we also have an extra auxiliary output waveform here we could use with a bunch of different shapes. I'm just going to take this sine, and I'm going to plug that into time here on the delay effect. And what will happen now, depending on how we have this set, this is going to affect the delay time when we play a chord or set off our arpeggiator. So turn it up a bit so you can hear, and I'll play around with the LFO. Sounds really cool. And also play with the feedback and the mix. But we could use a different wave shape for that. We can go mad, speed it right up. Now you'll really hear it. And depending on the mix, of course, and the time setting here, so there you go. There is how you use the ARP and how you can set up your velocity and stuff like that. It's really, really very cool. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. If you enjoyed the video, please strike the like, subscribe to the channel, consider becoming a Patreon. What I will do, I think, is save this. So click on here, go save preset, and I'll just call this ARP tutorial video, and I'll know where I'm at. So click save and it's done. Anyway, I think just have another quick look. I think I pretty much covered everything in the ARP and the sequencer there. So retrigger is great if you're actually playing it, especially if latch is on. You're not making any errors. Of course, we can, you can send your velocity out. We have 3 outputs for our velocity. You have 3 outputs for your modulation, 3 outputs for your pitch, etc., etc. All that cool stuff. Anyway, top job, cool beans. I will see you later. Ta-da.